Hello YouTube, this is Pecktec, and I hope you guys had a great Christmas and a Happy New Year. This will be my first video, 2015. So like a lot of you, I got Christmas presents, over the holidays, and I got this filter for myself. I actually got a gift certificate from my wonderful mother-in-law, and I used it to buy this. I'd like to add this to one of my tanks, and it's a smaller version of the filters I normally use. I get the 350s, which are kind of like two of these put next to each other, or maybe one impeller but two bio wheels, and actually a larger bed for gathering sediment. So I really like these filters, and I want to unbox one and kind of tell you about them. And my clone has generously offered to help Holly and Kerrigan, take down the Christmas tree, so I can just talk to you guys, and I really appreciate that. He's a really great guy. The rest of them kind of they ran away, but I don't know exactly where they are right now, but he stuck around, and he's been a lot of fun. I really appreciate you going to work for me too.
No problem.
Gave him some great training tapes on the IT crowd. Anyway, let's get right to the unboxing, and let's talk a little bit more about the Marineland bio wheel filter. Okay, so this is what you get when you unbox your Penguin 200 bio wheel filter, and it's got a little lid here at the top for servicing your aquarium. It's also got this kind of like splash shield. I'm going to take these off because they will fall off pretty easily when you're just kind of messing with it. Inside here you have the bio wheel itself, and this is a really interesting piece of technology. It's a material specially designed for that biological, the beneficial bacteria to develop on here. And what it does is that bacteria does really good if it gets a lot of oxygen. So this is constantly submerged and then back in the air, and submerged and back in the air, and it provides like mass growth of those colonies, specifically designed with that biological process in place. And as you replace your filter material, which is this part, as you replace this stuff, it doesn't affect your load too much, because you've already got this too as a buffer. So if you stick a brand new one of these in, you're not taking all the biological out of that aquarium. You've got this as a constant keeper of your bacteria. And that's why you never replace them. These are basically, you never replace them, they're always there forever. And if you, like for instance, I have the bigger one, the 350, which is two of these. And I can take one of these out and hand them to someone like that has one of these. In fact, what I'll probably do when I go to use this is I'll put this in one of my 350s and take one of those seasoned wheels and simply put it here, and it's basically cycled right from the start. Now that doesn't mean your aquarium's not going to go through some terrible times in the first couple of days, and it doesn't mean you can just add fish right away. I don't really understand how people can do that. That's pretty remarkable to me. I see it on television a lot, but I've not seen someone do it in real life and like have tremendous success with it. Now, I could be wrong. And I think the simpler your setup is, like if you've got a glass tank and you throw a sponge filter in there, it might be one thing. But when you add lots of plants and other materials, you're going to at least get runaway algae. That's my opinion. They also have generic versions of this. You don't have to buy the Marineland brand filter. They have, I think it's Aquatech. Hey, would you mind grabbing that that other one out of the 55-gallon? Show them the other box. There's another box that has, it's got, I guess they come in a pack of 6. You can get them at Walmart. And yeah, that's the one. So yeah, you can get that at Walmart. It's a lot cheaper. It's a lot cheaper. Also here we've got this is where the water comes in from the aquarium, and packed inside here we have the rest of the filter. Alright, so this is what it looks like assembled. And it basically is your little guard, so you don't, your fish can't climb inside there. And also keeps the bigger debris from actually clogging the impeller. And you've got this, which is kind of neat. So you can open this up, and it lets some of the water in mid-water, so all the water is mixed a little bit better. That way the water isn't just coming all from the bottom, it's coming from the middle of your tank or wherever, towards the top of your tank, wherever this ends up, depending on how deep your tank is. And there. Also, you can take these and this middle part here and trim it to whatever depth you need in your aquarium. So if you need to, you can cut it down, and then this little plastic thing just will hide over it. It doesn't even have to be a very clean cut. Do be careful not to crack this or break it, but you can just cut this at any length you want and then reattach here. I don't recommend you cutting this side if you can help it. Keep this one pristine, but cut this thing to fit. Oh, instructions. What else is here? Room for 2 and twice the filtration power. Okay, so you can put 2 cartridges in. I don't think you really need to. Maybe if you're having a real big problem. The other thing about those cartridges is, the factory ones especially, is they have carbon in them. And carbon's okay. There's been some arguments about whether or not carbon's even necessary, you know, to some degree. I think it's inexpensive and kind of a waste most of the time. The plants keep my water really, really clean, so I don't know. Sometimes it's okay, especially if you've stirred up a bunch of debris or you got some medicine you need to clear out of there or something like that. Carbon's great for that sort of thing, but day to day, I don't think you need it all the time. And I kind of wish they made something that was more reusable, kind of like the Pecktec filters, where you can just squeeze out that sponge, or get 2 sponges and like throw one over here to clean and another one to, you know, just throw right in. So anyway, this is how this fits together in the back. This part simply slides into place, and there's little nooks so you can tell how it goes together. And I was wondering if I could get to the impeller in this. Okay, I bet I can. What usually, I'm going to remove this stuff so it doesn't fall. The way these work is there's a magnetic part in here, okay? And if you can pull this out, just pull it straight up, you'll see that there's an impeller inside. Now, if you've just gotten one of these, you don't have to take it apart. This is just for cleaning. So let's say months and months and months and months later, you get one of these things and you'd like to clean this part, or it seems like it's sluggish even when you put a new filter in. You'll need to take this out and you simply pull this straight out. It only goes in one way, in and out one way. You just pull it straight out, and inside there's this thing which is called an impeller. Now, it's held in place like in a small hole inside of here by like a rubbery kind of thing. So you can pull this in and out and it's okay. Just remember which way it went in and out. So what this does, this has a magnet right here. And this magnet spins and it makes this little propeller spin. Now this propeller is what's actually, you know, causing the water to come through. So every now and then you have to pull this out because it gets real gunky and slimy. So yeah, slime's not fun. So you want to clean that out now and then, and that's how you maintain it. That's really the only maintenance aside from changing this filter that you're going to do on one of these. I've had them for years and years, and they're very reliable. Also, if your aquarium's making a terrible amount of sound, or your filter is making a terrible sound, and it sounds like clacking and stuff, it's coming from in here. These impellers can get broken over time. They're plastic, so they can get broken from time to time. And everybody hurts. Exactly. Okay, so there you have it, the Marineland Penguin 200 bio wheel filter. Hang on the back, very reliable, very durable, really interesting product. I do recommend augmenting the filters if you can. Experiment with that. Sometimes it kind of makes a mess. One bad thing about this filter is it seems like every time I remove the filter and change this pad, a ton of debris comes out. I'm sure you can backwash it or something, but I don't know. It doesn't seem to be a problem. A big plume comes out and it goes away in a few minutes. So, and I think it does that one pretty much. I think my other filters do that too when I clean them out. So, to some degree, but it's very pronounced. It seems like with these things. But I've never really had. I pretty much started with a bio wheel filter, and I've just always stuck with them. So, except for my fluval tanks, that of course came with their own filtration systems like the specs. I've pretty much always used a bio wheel filter. I really love the Eclipse hoods, especially the Eclipse 1 and the Eclipse 2. They stopped making them, but that's what my 12 gallon, my 30 gallon are both Eclipse hoods, and I love those. So I'm a big believer in the bio wheel. I think it makes it a lot easier to cycle a new tank, especially to jump from one tank to another tank to another tank. It makes it really easy, and it's a great addition. So I highly recommend it. And I guess that's it for today. I've got some more stuff to show you from Christmas presents, but I'll be back soon. And I can't wait to talk to you again. See ya. Okay, so here's what you get out of the box when you take apart your Penguin Bio Wheel 200. Put that anywhere. Okay, so what's it like to be just kind of created out of nothing and then forced to go to work for this guy? Terrific, I guess. I mean, we get along pretty good, and I really enjoy, going to work and telling people to turn things off and on again, and hanging out with his kid, and his wife and I get along pretty good, I gotta say. It's been great. Okay, places everyone. Places.